Hello and welcome to this Factorising Part 3 for National 5 video. This is going to cover trinomials, but slightly harder versions of them. It's essential that you understood the stuff that was in the Part 2 video before you try attempting this, or you will get lost. All of our examples here have a number in front of the squared term, and that makes it slightly more tricky, as there will be an extra step involved. The method that I'm going to show you is the reverse of multiplying brackets out. However, when you get back to class, it is possible that your own classroom teacher may show you an alternative to this method. It does work though. Okay, what we need to do here is we need to take the first number and the last number and multiply them. So 3 times 4 equals 12. Now it's the 12 that I'm going to find all the factor pairs for. So as before, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. And what I'm doing is I'm looking for the ones that add to give me that number there in the middle. So an 8. So 2 plus 6 equals 8. What I'm going to do this time is I'm going to replace the 8a with 2a and 6a. So that means that my next line of working is going to be 3a squared plus 2a plus 6a plus 4. I'm now going to split this into 2 separate halves, a front half and a back half. And each of those 2 halves I'm going to find a common factor. For 3a squared and 2a, both of those have a in them. So we take an a out and we put a bracket. A times 3a will give me 3a squared. And a times 2 will give me 2a. And then I'm going to have, these both have the 2 times table in them. So I'm going to take out the common factor of 2. So that's going to give you 3a times 2. It's going to give me my 6a. And 2 times my 2 is going to give me my 4. Now I don't know if you've noticed, but that bracket there and that bracket there are identical. We're now going to take those, because that's something times that bracket and something else times that bracket, we're going to take the bracket as a common factor, meaning that the first bracket is going to be 3a plus 2, and that's going to have been multiplied by a and 2. So a plus 2 in my bracket. That's fully factorised. Now I can multiply that out and I should get what I started with. You should never be able to walk away from this and not multiply out your brackets and get what you started with. So one more time, I take the 2 and I multiply it by the 5. 2 times 5 equals 10. So I'm now going to write down all the factor pairs for 10. So 1 and 10. 2 and 5. 3 doesn't go in, 4 doesn't go in. I've already got 5, so I've got them all. I'm looking for the ones which add to give me 11. So that's going to be 1 plus 10. And I'm going to replace the 11k with 1k and 10k. So that's going to become 2k squared plus 1k plus 10k plus 5. Split it into a front half and a back half. Find a common factor, so that's going to be k up front, multiplying by 2k and 1, and then I've got 5 up front, giving me 2k plus 1. Both these brackets are the same, so I know I'm going right, and that's going to give me 2k plus 1 as my first bracket, and that's being multiplied by k and 5, so k plus 5. That's fully factorised. Try example 3 on your own by pausing the video, doing your working, and then restarting the video to see if your working matches mine. I'm going to take 5 and multiply by 4. It's 20. So factors of 20, 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 3 doesn't go in, 4 and 5, 5's the next one, I've got them all. And I'm looking for the ones that add to give me 12. So 2 plus 10 equals 12. So replace that with 2m and 10m. So 5m squared plus 2m plus 10m plus 4. Take a common factor for the front half and a common factor for the back half. So that's going to give me m lots of 5m plus 2 and 2 lots of 5m plus 2. Both these are the same, so take them as a common factor. 5m plus 2, m plus 2. Hopefully you got that correct. Okay. Sometimes we have to take account of negatives, as we do in these three examples. As you can see, there's various combinations of negatives throughout. Like we did before, sometimes when we've got a plus at the end, we have to use the fact that two negatives multiply to give a positive. So 2 times 4 equals 8. And it's negative numbers that I'm looking for to multiply, so that's going to be minus 1 and minus 8, minus 2 and minus 4. Minus 3 doesn't go in, minus 4 I've already got, so I've got them all. And I'm looking for them to give me minus 9, so that's minus 1 and minus 8, giving me 2y squared minus 1y minus 8y plus 4. This is where we need to be quite careful. A lot of people go wrong around about this part. I'll show you in a moment. Right, so first bracket, I'm looking for a y up front, giving me 2y minus 1. Now, is it a positive or a negative number I need to take? It's going to be a positive number. If I was to take a positive number, that would give me a common factor of 2, and then that would be multiplying by 4y plus 4. Sorry, I'm going to change that. If it was a positive number of 4, because 8 and 4 are both in the 4 times table, sorry, that would give me 2y and 1. Now that needs to be a negative, because this bracket has to be the same here, so it has to be a minus that I'm taking up front. Minus 4 times 2 gives you minus 8. Minus 4 times minus 1 gives you plus 4. Okay, so take real care with that. 2y minus 1, because 2y minus 1 is in both terms, and then y take away 4. And if you notice, we've got negatives in both brackets. Positive at the end, negative in the middle. Here, I have negative at the end and positive in the middle. So I'm going to use the same sort of thing going on. I have to have two opposite signs multiplying to give me a negative. So that's going to be 3 times minus 6 is minus 18. Okay, I'm looking for factors of minus 18, so that's going to be 1 and minus 18, minus 1 and 18, 2 and minus 9, minus 2 and 9, 3 and minus 6, and minus 3 and 6. I'm looking for the one that adds together to give me plus 7, so minus 2 add 9 gives me plus 7. So 3x squared minus 2x plus 9x minus 6. First two terms I'm taking a common factor of x, giving me 3x minus 2. Second, I'm looking at 3 lots of 3x minus 2, and that's going to be a positive because it was three whole lots, not negative 3 lots of. Giving me a final answer here of 3x minus 2 times x plus 3. Okay, again, pause your video and see whether you can get the same working as I have. 4 times minus 3 is minus 12. So 1 and minus 12, minus 1 and 12, 2 and minus 6, minus 2 and 6, 3 and minus 4, minus 3 and 4. And I'm looking for them to add to give me minus 4. So the 2 take away the 6. It's the larger of the two values, which is negative if you want a negative answer. So it's that one there I'm looking for. So 4b squared plus 2b minus 6b minus 3. The front half and the back half. I'm looking for 2b times 2b plus 1, and minus 3 is coming out because these need to have a plus inside them. That's usually a big clue. 2b plus 1. Both brackets are the same, so 2b plus 1 times 2b minus 3. Okay, hopefully you found that useful. Good luck with the exercises.